leads me to another question, and I'm going to go over to Strasbourg again. You guys are in North Dakota. Tell me why. Give me some reasons, and teachers help me out here. Why the missiles were put in the interior of the United States? Why weren't they in California or New York or someplace like that? Give me some reasons.
Population on the coastal areas, don't say that.
Most of the population is in the coastal areas.
Okay, that's a good answer, but that's not correct. Let me hear some others. Got any others?
What were you all doing yesterday? Why it's in the center?
I don't know, dude. That's what's in the center?
Well, why are the missiles in the center rather than in the coastal areas?
So they would protect the whole country, not just coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have good answers.
Oh, it's quicker to get to Russia than it is on the.
Okay, well you're getting closer, but let me go into it here. The reason being is they were in the interior of both countries, both the Soviet Union and the United States. Is if these weapons were ever launched, they would fly a polar route over the North Pole. That was the shortest way, the quickest way. These weapons, these missiles, both flew in excess of 10,000 miles per hour, very quick. A Minuteman II would be to its target in 30 minutes. The same with the Soviet Topol missile. That's what those were called, 30 minutes. And the other reason was down here, we're both sides, both the United States and the Soviet Union have what's called the nuclear triad, what's been called the nuclear triad. And what that consists of is aircraft or air-launched cruise missiles, air-dropped nuclear bombs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, the Minuteman system, and the third leg of that triad, the sea leg, was submarine-launched ballistic missiles. That's the main reason they weren't on the coast. If they'd been on the coast, they would have been very susceptible to attack from submarine-launched ballistic missiles. We're talking minutes, a few short minutes, less than 10 minutes, and neither side, or we wouldn't have had time for a retaliatory strike. And that's why they put them in the interior of the United States. That's the main reason. So, okay. All right, let's go back here a little bit. Let me go back to this, let me go back to some pictures here. This is what this capsule looks like here. And like I said, I'm buried 31 feet underground here. So this picture here is from 1961, long time ago. But this was buried 31. Can everybody see that? Kind of looks like a submarine there. But this is what was buried 31 feet underground. The country then at the time, we're in this, we talked a little bit about the Cuban, where you guys have talked, some of you have talked about the Cuban Missile Crisis panic. We're worried about being attacked with nuclear weapons by the Soviet Union from Cuba or from the Soviet Union. These were built, all of these sites, not only out here in the plains of South Dakota, but North Dakota, Montana, Missouri, Wyoming, Colorado, Nebraska, all of this was done within about a 2-year period, very quickly. Everybody pitched in, and I think it's just amazing that I sometimes wonder if that would happen nowadays, if there would be such a spirit of cooperation. I hope there would be, but you never know. All right, let me share some more pictures here. All right. Let's go back to, since you guys seem to know a lot of, let's go back to Chilhowie. And why don't we talk, I'm going to ask a question or a general question for any of you students out there at Chilhowie. Tell me a little bit about the START, or let's tell us about the START Treaty. What was it? What did it stand for?
Okay, go ahead. The START Treaty. We went over it.
Somebody answer.
Between us and Russia, the Soviet Union. Yeah, we agreed I have a Germany foreign exchange student, Marlene Lupke, says it was the agreement that we wouldn't fire nuclear weapons unless we were first fired upon.
Well, Marlena, that was already agreed upon, and it's interesting. I had some people from Germany in today from Bremerhaven. So, and I asked them who they thought, and I'll ask you the same question, Marlena. Who do you think was the most influential person? And you can name anybody, but tell me who you think the most influential person was, or from the German perspective, that ended the Cold War.
Ronald Reagan.
Okay. I think, and tell me a little bit about that, because I did ask those people today from Germany about that.
She's not sure. Are you sure?
He happened to be president when the Berlin Wall came down, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably the influence not to, like, I don't know, say.
Fight. Retaliate.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what they told me today. This couple from Bremerhaven, because I always like to, of course, much older than you, old enough to be your parents. They lived during the Cold War, and both sides, they were worried about the United States. They were worried about the Soviet Union, what would happen. But Ronald Reagan in 1987 goes to Berlin, stands on the Allied side of the Berlin Wall, and tells Mr. Gorbachev to tear down that wall. 2 years later, it came down. That's pretty powerful. And this couple that was here today, and they said to me, and I'm older, and they said they never imagined that happening. And you'd never know any different because of when you grew up. But they never envisioned a unified Germany. Never. They never thought that would happen. They always thought there would be the Cold War and their country divided. And I want all the students to think about out there what happened at the end of World War II with the partitioning of Germany and Berlin in particular. If you had grandparents living on the eastern side, you may have never seen them again. Ever. Never talked to them. No letters. Nothing. That changed in 1989. So in 1991, let's get back to start here, and let's get our presidents right with what's first. But George Herbert Walker Bush, there was a Bush prior to the last President Bush. This gentleman here, who had been Ronald Reagan's vice president, and had also been director of our the United States Central Intelligence Agency for a while. He approaches Gorbachev, and they sign a treaty in 1991. Basically, it's called START, Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. And what it did, I'm going to go right back to this drawing here. High school students like drawings, so don't have to talk so much. They're pictures. But what it did was all these bases that are now, it deactivated the missiles. It reduced, it pulled out the missiles of all of these bases. So basically, you cut them down to half. Still, yes, very dangerous. But the danger was reduced. And most importantly,